Yay! Okay, we're here. Yay! Welcome to another episode of American Sex Podcast Live. I'm Sunny Megatron.
I am Ken Melvoinberg.
And we're sexuality educators, pleasure advocates, and kinky perverts too. We also are very in sync. We're married. See? Our podcast is American Sex. You can hear it. It drops every Monday on wherever you get podcasts, iTunes and Stitcher and all those places.
All the places.
Spotify. Blah, blah, blah. But we love Get Vocal because we can do a live version of our podcast in addition to what we bring you every Monday. And we can show you things because it's visual. So we really, really love this, and we love Get Vocal.
Is that really that much of a tease? Like, you're not going to just show them?
I will. I have a list, Ken.
Oh.
It's not next on the list, Ken. I plan. So, couple housekeeping things. One is
vote.
Yes, that wasn't what I was going to say, but I should have.
Wash your hands. Vote.
I'm dropping two things in the chat right now. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on Periscope or Facebook or if you're I was gonna wear my fuck Trump shirt today. We should have. If you're watching on Periscope or Facebook or YouTube, any place where this is simulcast, and you hear me saying I'm gonna drop stuff in the chat, but then you don't see anything in the chat, Maurice. It's because you need to be watching us on the Get Vocal platform. If you go to bit.ly, bit.ly, Sunny Get Vocal, SUNNY, GETVOKL. You can join us over on the Get Vocal platform and get these links. And I've dropped in, we're doing a giveaway for a 2-pack of Eddies from Giddy, plus their revolutionary ED guide. It's worth like $249. I dropped the link there so you can enter to win. I also dropped a link to a couple of diagrams of where the prostate is. If you want to take a peek at those, just so when we're talking, you have a better mental image of what we're talking about anatomy-wise. So for those of you who are like, I don't know if I want to pop over to Get Vocal, you better, because that's the only way that you can enter. Right, you can enter our weekly giveaway. You need to be watching on the Get Vocal platform. You need to be 18 or over and have a mailing address in the continental United States. This week, our prize sponsor is Tenga, and we've got not one, but 2 spinner strokers for you. One is the Tetra, and that's the name of the textures that are inside. And this one's called the Shell. They are great companions for a little prostate play, as you're going to hear later.
Now, Sunny, wait. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. I'm going to throw in an extra toy for the winner of this one.
Okay.
Well, you're looking really confused right now. You're looking terrified.
Because I hoard toys. I'm like, would this be good for another prize? What? I'm cheap.
I don't care if you're cheap.
Okay.
So is this one or two? You're just giving this to one person, correct? Yes. All right. So in addition to these, I'm going to give away another Tenga flip hole.
Okay.
It's in a separate stash. You don't know about it. So if you don't know about it, you didn't count it in your inventory.
Wow, that's a lot.
So this is from me to whoever wins. So your favorite penis haver can have 3 things that they can put stuff in.
So go tell everybody to get their butts over here. You don't have to do anything else. Just be here on the Get Vocal platform and be present when we call the winner at the end of the broadcast. The folks will Get Vocal. The folks at Get Vocal will put your name into a hat and draw one and then secretly message me who the winner is. And that's how it's done. Yay. Okay. So giveaway, the tipping feature. So some of you have gotten a free little bounty, a little stash of V coins to try out Get Vocal's new tipping feature. If you've spent all your V coins or you don't have V coins, they can be purchased. There's a little diamond thing in your chat. It's available on mobile and desktop, and you can use it that way. And then you can give us like a gift and all sorts of things too. And that helps support the show. Boom. I think we're ready to go. Are you ready? This is an episode that we can really get behind because it's all about butt stuff.
It's all about butt stuff.
Okay. So do you want to start talking about butt stuff? Because
let's start talking.
I don't have a prostate. He does.
So let's talk about butt stuff, people. For those of you that have prostates, this is kind of a fun thing to do. Not only that, but it's the one thing that if you do have a prostate, you can do something for yourself that nobody else in the world gets to have. And that is you can reduce the rate of prostate cancer that you might get by about 30% if you get at least one prostate massage a month. Now, we're going to explain why that is a little bit later on. So first of all, if you're somebody who is not comfortable with butt stuff, because I don't care what your orientation is, just like butts are something that a lot of us feel gross about. We feel smelly. You know, you just get done having a shower and you got to poop, then you feel like you got to go back to the shower.
I hate it. Every time I take a shower, I get out like 5 minutes later. I'm like, no, I have to poop. Now my butt's dirty again. It pisses me off. Anyway, I hate that. Tell me in the chat if you hate that too, if you have to poop right after you take a shower. It's like you've ruined the whole.
So one of the things that you just need to do right away is, first of all, you got to pay attention to the psychology of what's going on with, you know, what's happening upstairs, what is making you feel uncomfortable. And we're going to try and resolve some of those issues, because first and foremost, it doesn't say anything about who the person is that you love when you stick something in your butt. It's just an underused place of the body that feels amazing. In this sort of orgasm is double what a normal orgasm would be. So if you haven't done it before, and I didn't do it till like what, I was in my
we were together, and it was the first like couple of years of us being together, and it was amazing. We have a YouTube video.
Tell them. Oh, you know what? Just, you know, go.
Yeah.
We'll put a link to it later on. Like, go. We'll.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what the link is right now. There are no show notes. But if you go to just go to Sunny Megatron or Google me and Google like prostate massage or prostate play, it should come up. At Google in YouTube, search in YouTube, whatever. You know what I mean.
So one of the things that you can do is, first of all, just take your mind off from stuff. So if it is, what was that?
Pooping after a shower is worse than sharding yourself. I agree. Sorry, I agree. Everyone's like, it's the worst. Oh my God. Sorry. Okay. I'm really excited.
Okay. I can tell you're very excited.
Okay,
I forgot where I was.
Okay.
So as you're getting ready to do prostate play, the first and foremost is that you have to relax, and you have to relax in whatever good way, you know, feel, or whatever way it feels good to you specifically. So one of the things for me is like massage helps a lot. So if somebody's like massaging my thighs, they massage my shoulders, my arms, just, you know, sort of take my mind and put it somewhere else. I like music, incense. So there's something for all of the senses that you can do to sort of detract from any of the negativity feeling about it. So once you have that resolved, the next thing is like, you know, you got to make sure you talk to your partner about this. So can you?
Yeah. Okay. When Ken and I first did prostate play, you would think, okay, we're sexuality educators. We were sexuality educators when we did that, you know, even though this was like 8 years ago.
Right. And I've been a sexuality educator for 20 years by the time we're talking.
Right. And you would think like, why would they be embarrassed to talk about stuff? They teach how to be open and talk about. But we were still like, I don't know why we didn't bring it up.
It was this thing that I assumed that if she wanted to do it, that she would bring it up to me, and I think you assumed the same thing about me.
We assumed if the other one wanted to do it, they would bring it up, and we just never talked about it. And one day, I don't know what it was, it came up, and we're like, oh my God, you too, I thought you, and
I'm like, yes, stick all the things in my butt. That would be amazing.
It's hard to bring up. Oh, Liz, I think you got the right one. You probably did. She put the link to the YouTube.
Thank you, Liz.
So it's hard to bring stuff up for the first time. My excuse, what I love to go to in this day and age with the internet and social media, you can use that as your excuse. So perfect example. Hey, this notification came across my social media that Ken and Sunny are doing a prostate play, get vocal tonight. I don't know about that, but you know, I'm curious. I'd like to, but really inside you're like, I've been waiting for you to stick something out your butt. But that's your in right there. So like I read an article, I came across a thing. Hey, what do you think about? Those are great ways to just open the door. And oftentimes when one person starts talking, the other person quickly picks it up.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? I think it's important that you know that we're definitely not infallible, and we learned this stuff because we fucked up a lot before we got it right. And like, if you didn't do that, if you don't screw up communication, if you don't, you know, talk about technique or what you want done, it's not going to happen no matter how, you know, nobody is better than anybody else. And I don't want anybody to think that. That's, you know, we definitely just fucked up a lot.
Yeah, no, I also want to say though, as the partner without the prostate, if your prostate partner brings this up, it's really important how you receive the information. Communicating, yeah, that's good if you can communicate, but how you listen and receive and process and respond is also just as important. So odds are, if your partner, if you're a hetero relationship and you're with a straight cis man, he probably has some hangups about butt play. And so if you're like, ew, your butt, bleh, you know, that might just, okay, never mind, I said anything, and shut down the conversation. So keep that in mind. Be very empathetic. Encourage the communication and the conversation.
So we're going to talk a little bit about prostate health. First and foremost, you should know about the what the prostate is. It's a periurethral gland that its job is sort of to supply the liquid part of what comes out as semen. Mm-hmm. So, and it's about 50% of what it is that we comes from this particular gland. Now, it is also very alkaline in nature, which is sort of interesting. It's something that starts off as the size of a walnut and then can grow. And that's like when you're about, like, I don't know, 18 or so. It's the size of a walnut. When you get to be about my age, 50 or older, it starts swelling up a little bit, and you can get prostatitis, and it gets to be about the size of a plum. Yeah. Now, that doesn't reflect the part of the prostate you're feeling when we talk about prostate massage. Yeah. And this is very important. So if I was lying on my back and Sunny inserted her fingers inside of me.
One finger or two? I do one, but.
Thank you, sweetheart. Okay. You're very helpful.
Okay, sorry.
Would you like to do?
No, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Shoo. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot what I was talking about.
Inserting finger.
Okay, inserting finger. Thank you. All right. So as you insert the finger, wait a minute. Hang on a sec. I'll be right back.
What? Oh, he's getting something.
No, I'm not. Just go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay. So anyway. As he was saying, you know, yes, it says it's the size of a walnut, but when I first did prostate play, I'm in there thinking I'm going to find something the size of a walnut, and I'm feeling around. What you feel, however, you don't feel the whole thing. So those of you who have that diagram, you may see like there's this little circular gland here, and as you go into the rectum, you just feel the edge of it. So when you're feeling, it feels like it's more the size of a kidney bean, and it's sometimes hard to find. So when the person with the prostate isn't aroused, the prostate isn't as prominent and it isn't as easily felt. As the person gets more aroused, it gets harder, it gets more swollen and engorged, and you're more likely to feel it. Those of you who have taken a G-spot class of ours or watched our live stream, you may remember us saying that once the person with the G-spot is aroused, you can find it easier. Anatomy-wise, the prostate is very similar to the G-spot in people with vaginas. And one other thing, when you do find it, what you may feel when it's engorged and the person is aroused, just like on the G-spot. Remember I told you, if you run your tongue above the roof of your mouth, you feel those little ridges. You're going to feel a very mini version of that on the part of the prostate that you can feel with your finger as well.
Okay, so and real quick, the prostate itself is sort of like a donut around the neck of the bladder. The part that I'm sure Sunny told you about is like the size of she said it presents about the size of a kidney bean when it's swollen. That's the part of the donut. So if this was if this is your bladder, let me see if I can put my hands in the right way. This is the little donut hole that goes around it. My knuckle up top here is the part that you're touching.
Yeah.
So as you're on your back, you're going inside. And I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense right now, but
look at the diagram.
But if you look at the diagram, you're just going to feel a tiny little part, and it's a good 2.5 to 3 inches inside. It's depending on the person, though, it can change a little bit and be adaptable. But the more aroused somebody is, whether or not they even have a penis or whether the penis is erect is irrelevant. It just arousal matters. Nothing else about the equipment does.
And one cool thing is,
go ahead.
Oh, when we did our ED live stream last week and we talked about different ways you can have an orgasm without having an erection, this is one of them right here.
All right. So the next thing is we want to talk about is anal hygiene all the way around. The anus is not self-lubricating, so and I don't think it's necessary to have a douche, but a good like soap and water rinse is pretty customary for something like that. And just make sure that you don't have any bullets in the chamber. Next thing is to make sure that you, wait a minute, did you just change my page on me?
No,
Hang on 1 sec.
it's this page.
Okay, there you go. The next thing is we want to talk about any potential health issues. So there are things like hemorrhoids, like anal fissures. Those are all things that you want to look at and consider before you start any kind of prostate play. Anal fissures, if you haven't seen them before, they're kind of like a paper cut, but they're on the inside of your anus and they don't heal very easily. Hemorrhoids can either be external or internal. So they're either outies or innies. If they're outies, they'll just sort of be on the outside of the pucker. If they're innies, they can be like a little cluster on the inside. And it doesn't mean you can't do this stuff. You just have to be prepared to go around it and be aware of what the issues are. Also, never, ever, ever use a water-based lube if somebody does have anal fissures. There is certain chemicals in it, and some actually may even have a little tiny bit of alcohol. But it stings like a motherfucker if you put water-based lube. Silicone lube, you're not going to have that issue. So the next thing to prepare is you want to have all the stuff for your little bit of love that you're going to do here. First and foremost, if you don't have like a fancy waterproof blanket, you just throw a towel under your ass.
Right, or puppy pads.
Or puppy pads. Either one of those are great. Next thing is to have a set of disposable gloves of some kind. And then have a lot of lube, preferably silicone lube. If you're going to if you use a glove in combination with any kind of a lubricant, it's better off to use silicone for anal overall. You can definitely do stuff with oil, but you just can't use a latex glove with that because number one, it will start to disintegrate it a little bit and tear at the quality of the glove.
And real quick, if you're looking for a good silicone-based lube, if you've been listening to the over-the-air version of our podcast, lately we have been giving you ads for Uber Lube. That is one lube,
one of my favorites.
One lube that we love, and we've got a discount. I want to say it's like uberlube.com, and the discount is sunny, I'm pretty sure. So, yay.
Next thing is things not to use. So like any of these products that sell themselves as a desensitizing cream that have a little bit of lidocaine in them are absolutely tear and get like little rips in the tissue. It's not a fun thing to do, and you want to be pain is there for a reason. It's okay to have a little pain and discomfort. It tells you when something is wrong.
Right. Real quick, Maurice had a comment here, which is very, very helpful comment. I want to talk a little bit about it. He said, FYI, if you're using water-based lube, make sure not to just leave your finger in one spot. The lube absorbs or evaporates. It's actually evaporates, but I'll get there in a second. And then when you go to move your finger, it can hurt. Absolutely. So water-based lubes, I'm going to give you the quick rundown between water-based and silicone lubes. Water-based lubes, because it's water-based, water evaporates. So oftentimes what happens is you have to either keep reapplying the lube, but when you reapply water-based lube, what happens is the water keeps evaporating out of it and all the other ingredients stay there and it starts to get gummy. You ever get your lube getting gummy and weird? That's why, because the water is evaporating. So if you are using water-based lube, they do make special water-based lubes for anal that are more thicker, like a jelly. And I would also recommend if you need to reapply because it's evaporating, also have some water near you because, like I said, when you keep doing water-based lube, water keeps evaporating, you get the gum. But if you put the water back in the lube, it kind of reactivates it a little bit. So that's one way you can keep your lube from gumming. But honestly, I prefer silicone.
Or don't use water-based lube.
I prefer silicone. And oil-based is great too if you have the right environment.
Yes, and Adam, don't tear yourself a new asshole. Lube is your friend.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so the next thing is...
Bye, Jane.
What's that?
Jane has to go back. Bye.
Oh, bye, Jane.
Okay.
All right, so next thing is we're ready for love. And the way we're going to do this, so our towel or our puppy pad is underneath us. Whoever is getting the prostate massage is on their back. They're relaxed. One of the great and easy things that you can do when you're starting this is you just want to be on your back with your knees up a little bit. And to align your colon properly, if you're having problems either getting fingers in or you have any kind of discomfort, raise your knees slowly to your chest as you're on your back. So you're bringing them up like so. And as you do that, your colon aligns. That's the reason why we use squatty potties, for example, because it makes your feet go a little bit off the ground and the, everything in you can kind of like go in a straight line. It just makes everything a lot easier. So as the person is on their back, they're ready to go. They've got the music, they're massaged. They're not worried about anything except for having a great time. Their partner comes in with a gloved hand, puts some lube on their finger, their single finger, and a lot of lube on the outside of the asshole. And as you get it in there, you just want to make sure that like you cannot have too much lube for something like this. So too much is better than not enough. Once it's all set, what you want to do is just like poke around there just a little bit and stick a single digit of your finger. Now, what we're going to be doing here is it's a pattern that's sort of going to be repeating itself a few different times based on how many digits you have on a single finger. So first part, second part, third part. All right. First part, when we do this, you're all the way up to this first bend, this first knuckle. And at that point, you want some arousal to begin along with this. So what you're going to be doing then is like either have, and this is something that you can do with 2 people or 3 or more, because if you have an extra friend, you can have 1 person with a finger and 1 person on the dick.
And spoiler, next week's American Sex Podcast on the 9th is all about polyamory problems. So,
and as you continue on, what you're doing here is you're having 1 person work the penis. Now, at this point, you want to get that penis aroused, and it's blowjob, fucking, sucking, anything that is going to be arousing to the individual. The arousal, not the erection, is what's important here. So whatever that arousal is, like just that's what you have to really focus for. As you are continuing on, you're getting aroused. On a scale of 1 to 10, if the penis ever gets to a 9, like you're just about to come, you need to stop whatever you're doing and sort of let it relax and go back down again.
And 10 is orgasm.
And 10 is orgasm. As you continue on, you're ready for the next part. After you've done this for at least about like 7 minutes, let's say.
Yeah.
7 to 10 minutes. You want to do each section of finger. Then you're ready for your next one. And then you like get a little bit more lube around there, and you're going in a little bit deeper. So you're up to the second knuckle. At that point, you want to make the dick come back alive again. So like in between times, don't worry about if the penis is erect or flaccid, doesn't matter. At this point though, you want to start the arousal process again. And what you're going to do is you're going to start sucking, fucking, whatever it takes to get that arousal happening. And you're doing that for another 7 to 10 minutes. Then you continue on and you're going to go into the third knuckle. And when you get there, you start the whole process yet one more time. This time, however, you've been doing this long enough where this edging has caused an excess buildup of semen. And this is where sort of the trick comes in. So once arousal is online, that means that the prostate is swollen, and that little kidney bean thing that somebody talked about has these really tight ridges in it, like the roof of your mouth or like a ruffled potato chip. When you stick your finger in there, you'll be able to feel it. And at this point, your finger will be in deep enough for you to actually tap up towards that little lump, feel where it is, and you're just going to rest your finger on it. Do not press it hard. You need to find out and get a baseline for what the person with the prostate likes before you do it. Right. And it's incredibly sensitive.
So this is where, sometimes I talk about optometrist sex, like, do you like this? Do you like this? This is where communication is really important. It's actually important throughout this whole process. So what Ken is describing is prostate play for someone who's new to prostate play. Like if you've done extreme anal play, you can just like, pew. So we're talking, you're new to it. This is, one of your first few times, or maybe you're tight and small. And so this is your process every time. I lost my train of thought. My brain just erased itself. What was I saying? Oh, so communication. Yes. I lost my brain talking about communication. So it's really important, like from the giver's point of view, when we're doing this, there's a communication back and forth the whole time. Like, okay, put it in a little more. Okay, stop. Okay, go. Okay, how is it feeling now? And when you get to the prostate where you can actually feel it, like Ken was saying, for a lot of people, it's super fucking sensitive. So start light, like, how does this feel? You may want to, move your finger a little bit.
And as the owner of the prostate, one of the things that you want to do is indicate to your partner speed, depth, pressure, and frequency. So you want to make sure that all of those things are addressed.
So from the giver's point of view, this will kind of get you a little bit, because this is a lot of handwork. Okay. So with Ken and pretty much everybody that I felt their prostate, I have really long fingers, right?
I'm a lucky guy.
I know, but my first finger on him doesn't reach. I have to use this finger.
So she has to give me the finger when she wants to.
But this poses a few problems. Okay, first, he's on his bed, on his back with his knees up. I'm in this weird position with my hand like this. I'm going to have to be like that for what, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So prop up pillows, get comfortable. Think about like, okay, I need to be in this position for a long time. What do I need to keep myself comfortable? Then when, at least for me, when I have this middle finger and I have these fingers bent forward, it kind of hurts my hand. Like my hands are starting to get a little arthritic. So that's another consideration. And then thirdly, when I'm all the way in and I can reach the prostate, I am so far in that these fingers are being pushed, and I really have to get up there. So really think about your comfort as the giver as you're doing this.
So now we're at the most critical part of the whole process. And what we're going to do now is that on a scale of 1 to 10, 9 being like you're just about to come and 10 as you're coming, you're going to be constantly massaging just gently by communicating with your partner and find out what that person likes for depth, pressure, and speed. Me personally, I like a little bit of pressure, and then as I'm about to have an orgasm, I want the pressure to increase and a little bit of rubbing to go on. So as that happens, you're getting head, for example, and then somebody is also massaging the prostate, and at that moment, you're going to have one of the, like if you've never had this done before, it's probably going to be the most intense orgasm of your life. Angel sang, I saw the inside of Buddha's asshole, like things came in.
It was incredible.
It was incredible the first time we did it. And also you're going to have a load of cum about twice what you normally would. It's going to be about like the average size of somebody with a penis's cum when you have an orgasm is going to be about 1 tablespoon. There was 2.5 to 3 tablespoons like when I first did this. And my refractory period changed dramatically. And I'm going to explain why in just a second. And it has to do with the whole prostate cancer thing.
Right. And refractory period is the time it takes to have another, in between your orgasms to get a hard on again.
Just about to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought you were going on.
Nope. So the refractory period, as she said, I'm sorry, you kind of threw my game off, dude.
And also too, I want to mention as the giver, the different ideas that you can do. Like Ken said, he likes like the pressure. I've done kind of circles back and forth, a slight come hither motion. So even though it seems like a very small motion, there's a lot of difference in what the receiver might like.
Okay. Now the last thing is that refractory period is going to dramatically decrease. At the first time that I had it happen, it took 5 minutes, and she was just washing up away for just like a minute or two. I was aroused and ready to go again, and I had another orgasm within 5 to 10 minutes of the first one. But it's going to be extra watery. You're going to see that it's not quite as productive as the first one, and the reason why is that what's happening to the prostate at this point is that it oxygenates all of that stuff that's inside there. So the liquid that is turning into your semen is being oxygenated, which expels all of the viral, bacterial, and fungal contaminants that have built up there, for whatever the recent period of time is. So every time you do this, you're literally cleaning your pipes and you're getting all of those buildups away. When you do this, it not only increases like oxytocin in your body, it gives all, just having an orgasm all around gives you better health, because if your body's happy, you're happy. But what this does in particular is that it reduces that rate of prostate cancer, because the carcinogens are literally just sort of like gone away. It helps fizzled out. It's gonna be a fun way. What's going on?
I'm just reading the comments.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that you want to do here is you want to be, and then like talk a little bit and have some aftercare when you're done with this. Now, one of the other things that we wanted to chat about is toys. We're going to talk a little bit about toys. So did you want to talk about those real quick, Sonny?
I mean, you can if you, what do you want to get out first? Here, give me the Enjoy. Because this is something that I love. And our followers and watchers, I'm sure you're familiar with what's in this beautiful box, the Enjoy Pure One. Now, normally, normally we talk about it when we talk about G-spot play. So for the G-spot, oftentimes people like the big ball, G-spot's right here, you put it in and it hits. But a lot of people with prostates actually like the other end for prostate play. You know how I said that the G-spot and the P-spot, the prostate, they call it the P-spot. Sometimes you hear it called the male G-spot. They are very similar in function and feeling. And although the toys for each are different, there's a slightly different curve involved. They're very similar. So this is one.
When you look at all of these, they all sort of have that same bend in them. Where you have a problem, it's more with the products that are sort of like shampoo, you know, like how they do shampoo and conditioner and the same thing. Some sex toy companies try to do a sex toy that is prostate and G-spot. There's slightly different angles on both. Now, first of all, we're going to show you a couple of different kinds. Do you remember what the name of this WeVibe is? It's the one in the
package. The WeVibe Edge. Oh.
So this is the WeVibe Edge. If you take a look there, these are some vibrating prostate toys. One of the great things about these is that this clip can give you an external prostate massage, which is about like just on the outside of your butthole, and then you can have the inside being rubbed at the same time.
I want to show
also
you
have
the
remote
app
control.
too. So the cool thing about WeVibe toys that I love is the remote control app. When I have to connect a toy to do it, but it's all, you control it via your phone. One of the things about butt toys, and even some toys for my anatomy, is the buttons to control it are on the toy. And if you've got something in your ass and you're in a weird position, it's really hard to be like, oh, gotta turn it down. But when it's on your phone, you can either do it yourself, give it to somebody who's in the same room with you, or I could give it to someone who's in London right now, give them my code to my app, and they can control it. So I love WeVibe toys for that reason.
What's the name of the Lalo? Do you remember this one?
Hugo, the Lalo Hugo.
And those are basically the same kind of toy, like the WeVibe and the Lalo. They're both like, well, this one's just remote control, doesn't have an app.
It doesn't have an app, yeah. The app is like a game changer.
Next one we have, this is one of my favorites. This is the, I think it's the, what is it? Is it the Tantalizing Timothy?
Oh, is it the electric one?
Yeah, this is the electric one.
Oh, it's by MyStim.
Yeah, this is the one by MyStim, and these are amazing. So instead of vibrating, this one actually conducts electricity with a TENS unit. That's a little bit more advanced, but as far as one of my favorite things is definitely, I love that kind of play. And Desiree just brought up a really good one. These are two examples of the Anaros line. So Anaros has a very specific look to them. If you take a look, it's very ergodynamic. You see the little curve is in both. You'll notice that it has these little balls on the outside, so you don't have to worry about it going anywhere. Again, like remember, anything anytime you're putting something in your butt, you want to make sure it has a base of some kind. This will definitely anchor right where it needs to be. And when you're using any toy that's like this, first of all, Anaros is probably the company that I would recommend more than any other for prostate toys if you're just doing something that doesn't vibrate.
And it was, from my understanding, designed from a medical device. So it was made by urologists that really know anatomy and really know what's going on down there.
And engineers too. They had both. So that's one of the reasons why they have this particular look about them. And again, the little knobs on the end here, like when you position it just right, it can give you a nice external prostate massage. And again, any toy like this, if it's not hitting the spot exactly where you feel it at, just raise your knees up a little bit and you can just sort of clench down a little bit, and that will assist you. Now, speaking of clenching,
I just want to mention, he said something about toys with a base. If you're playing with prostate toys, ones that are shaped and made for your prostate are obviously best because they're going to be the better tool and hit the spot. However, a lot of people stick things in their ass that, it's a regular dildo or it's a banana or it's a carrot or whatever. Don't do that.
I feel attacked.
Sorry. Don't do that.
My first sex partner was a carrot. I'm part rabbit, apparently.
Because not only are our butts not self-lubricating, they're very hungry. So
don't judge me.
Do you remember?
It was the 80s. Shh.
Us Gen X's. The one thing that we thought we would encounter a lot growing up is quicksand. Yeah. So, and that has not been a problem in my adult life. However, when it comes to butts are kind of like quicksand, where you stick something up there and you think like, and all of a sudden your butt has just eaten it. It is.
I was going to say there were movies from the 1980s.
No, but 80s kids. Like we had all like the 60s movies and before with quicksand. Anyway.
Hence the bunny ears. Yes, Desiree.
Yes. So
I got a bunny tail butt plug too.
Oh yeah. So we often say without a base, without a trace, meaning if it doesn't have a base, it could get sucked up there and you can lose it without a trace. You're going to be in the emergency room and they're going to put your x-rays in some coffee table book and everyone on the internet is going to giggle that you had a light bulb in your colon.
Okay. Next, prostates in cancer. So that we talked about is that this does help decrease the rate of prostate cancer in some people. First and foremost, if you are African American, if you are Jewish, you have a better chance of getting prostate cancer. So pay more attention to it if that's part of your heritage at all. 1 in 7 people with prostates will get prostate cancer. 1 in 39 people with prostates will die from prostate cancer. It's the second leading cancer death in people with prostates, just behind lung cancer. 6 out of 10 cases are diagnosed after the age of 65. It is rare before 40, but not unheard of. The average age is 66. If you can reach 20 or more orgasms a month, by the way, this will help reach the serotonin level that you need to get to, in addition to having at least 1 prostate massage a month, where your body will, and that can be a combination of having sex with a partner, it can be masturbation, it can be solo prostate play or prostate play with a partner. But if you have a total of 20 orgasms in a month, you have started helping your body's overall health. You will increase serotonin, but specifically that prostate massage once a month oxygenates your prostate and it will release all of the bad ookies.
So if you thought coronavirus was scary, prostate cancer, but I mean, orgasms can perhaps save you from prostate cancer, but not coronavirus. I don't know. That wasn't very uplifting, but go play with your butt and wash your hands before and after.
Definitely before and after. Yes, if you're doing butt stuff, pretend you have coronavirus.
Oh, what is it? Okay, so on Twitter they were going wash your hands like, and one of them was like, you know, wash your hands like you had your finger up someone's ass. Another one I saw was wash your hands like you were chopping jalapenos and then you want to masturbate. So, oh, it's waffles. No, don't kiss me. Okay. What else? You have more you're talking about, Ken?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. And another thing, I want you to go back to last week's broadcast when we talked about erectile dysfunction, because if you're here in the prostate play thing, you're probably like, I want to have bigger, better, badder orgasms. And I mean better in a good way, like a Michael Jackson way. Not Michael Jackson way, but you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. That's a little creepy and weird.
No, he's like, I'm bad. You know the song, not like the things he was accused of.
I don't know where this is going. I don't know where this is going. No. Waffles, don't listen to me. Oh my God, Waffles sounds like a name Michael Jackson would have for one of his dogs.
Bacon and waffles. Oh God.
What was the chip's name?
Bubble. And why do I know that?
I don't know why.
Anyway, Bubbles. Go back to the erectile dysfunction from last week, because Ken also talked about the penile Kegels that you can do to give you better, not only erection control and orgasm control, but doing those exercises can also perhaps increase the strength of your orgasms. So go back and review that, and it's a good way to get you to watch it if you didn't watch it. Should we open up to questions?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna unlock. Where's the unlock? There it is. Feel free to ask, and I'm gonna just review the chat a little bit. Definitely a learning curve in many ways for the giver. Absolutely. Marie said that odd position, somewhere between changing a baby and stuffing a turkey.
That's a really good description.
Yes, as the giver, that is exactly like, plan that shit ahead and know you're going to be uncomfortable. Like prop up pillows around you and stuff. Let's see. I saw here somewhere JoJo was eating, it was a wrong night to eat chocolate Cocoa Krispies or whatever. Might as well get butt play when you can.
Wait.
Patients in the ER accidentally fell or just freely say, I lost my vibrator in my butt. Doesn't make you giggle anymore.
So we used to have a collection of radiographs from when I was an EMT of all the fucked up shit that people put in their butts. We found things like, personally, I was assisting physicians that had removed an 8-ounce tumbler glass, an umbrella, 7 Matchbox cars. I'm trying to remember what other weird stuff. A light bulb, a whole light bulb. That was the one that was the scariest.
It wasn't like a plastic LED.
No, it was like an old-fashioned glass light bulb that, like, I mean, bottles were pretty common. The light bulb was the scary thing because the muscles there, man, you can clench and you could break something pretty easily, but like we got it out no problem. And every time, so like when you take a radiograph of somebody's intestines and there's like a vibrator in there, it has a very distinct pattern. Almost every time you can see exactly what it is, and almost always you have to retrieve it, and you're supposed to throw that stuff away because it's a hazard, but they always want it back, even after they've told you like a ridiculous lie about how this ended up in their butt.
So the question is, like Uncle Fester style, or the whole thing?
The whole thing. The whole fucking thing was in his colon. It was an awful, like, the doc handled it, like forceps on the metal part and just lots of lube and relaxation.
Yeah. Oh,
like butt play in reverse.
So tell me, what are some of the things? Obviously, ask questions, but also what are some of the things you learned or that you were surprised to hear about this beginner technique for prostate play?
Oh, please do, Adam. And are you a physician, an EMT, a nurse? Like, what do you do?
We'll wait for the typing. I think the thing that paramedic. Okay, cool.
Same.
I think the thing when I first started doing anal play on people with prostates, especially beginners who weren't used to anal play, I just assumed that everything was like rigorous fucking like people do to my vagina. Granted, there are plenty of cis men, with people with prostates that love rigorous fucking in their ass. But oftentimes for a lot of people, that's something that needs to be worked up to. And for some people, it's like, that's not what I like at all. One of the cool things, gentle to start, definitely.
Oh, no, actually tell them the story about when we used the 2 sex toys on the same frequency.
Okay. And
this is important.
I think WeVibe does this too. We were using Lalo toys with remote control. He had the Hugo and I had something else. And it's a remote control toy. And we're like, we'll both use our remote control toys.
This one.
They were on the same frequency. So I jackhammer on high on my clit. And I just I revved it up. And he likes very low and gentle. And I almost gave him like an aneurysm or something. It was
awful. Yeah, she blasted her clit and blasted my prostate at the same time when I wasn't expecting it, because I had mine. So the way that you operate these is as you tilt them up, I believe it gets more intense, and as you get it more horizontal, it gets less intense. She was like, and I was like,
however,
and her increase took over my toy.
However,
so if she was blasting her clit, it also blasted my prostate.
For somebody who likes a lot of prostate stimulation, or someone who's a masochist, that would be a cool scene. Like if I was the femdom and I was pleasuring myself, but I'm too good to actually get fucked by you because you're my submissive. So I'm just going to pleasure myself and you can get my sloppy second vibrations in your ass. That would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
That'd be really cool. As a giver, patience is a must.
Oh, don't go up to Maurice's comment about the Venn diagram.
Oh, wait.
I think that's important.
Medic for 10 years, Adam. Big Venn diagram cross, it seems, for men who are into chastity and prostate play. This is true.
This is true, Maurice.
This is fucking true.
Maurice knows.
Oh, hell. Okay, so chastity, long story short, for those of you who don't know chastity, you can put it's a cock cage. You can lock your cock into chastity, and it is painful when you start to get an erection in this thing that's keeping your cock. So a lot of people who are into chastity play like butt play for a number of reasons. It could be because it's part of your sissification process and you're having like your holes played with, and that's a very feminine or a masculine thing. It could be
it's
because
also the edging, because
right,
once
exactly.
you actually get edged a little bit, and when I say edging, I mean it's the buildup of orgasm and desire over time. And what happens is you have this excess. If you've ever heard the term blue balls before, that's literally what's happening when you're in chastity. First of all, is that you're getting denied orgasm. So it's building up, it's building up. The prostate is going into overdrive, and there's a definite correlation between those two things. So you want some kind of release.
Yep.
Like it just gets to be painful and swollen and get that denied. And I've tried it before, and it was actually kind of nice.
Really?
It was because it's.
Were you in chastity?
When I was a submissive, yeah. I've never talked to you about me and what I did as a submissive. What happens with Mistress Colleen stays.
I want to be Mistress Colleen. Can we role play where I'm Mistress Colleen for a night? Because what? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, real quick. I'm gonna look at the more questions and then we'll get. That sounds like so much fun. You got it, Andrew.
What's the best way to engage with solo play without a partner for the first time? That's a great question. In fact, I think I actually wrote an article about that for Kinkly, how to both identify where your prostate is when you're by yourself and how to do it for the first time by yourself. And I apologize, I don't remember the name of the article.
Go to kinkly.com, kinkly.com, and just put in Ken Melvoin-Berg, and an author page will come up with all of his articles.
Have a lot of butt stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of butt stuff that I wrote for them. But the best way to engage in play without a partner for the first time is to not use one of these. In fact, I would definitely say, depending on what size you are, try one of these Anaros toys. Either one, depending on what you like. But get the size that seems appropriate for you. And the reason why these are so good for first timers, not only are they ergodynamically designed, so this is kind of a difficult subject to talk about with people, but it's also kind of weird to do by yourself for the first time. And this is designed to like get, a little bit of lube on it, a little lube on your butt, and it goes right to where it needs to go. And that's the great thing about this. So just remember when you're on your back, that these little angles where the part you see where it's pointing up at the end here, this is going to go, it's going to go in like this. This part's going to point towards your belly button. So when you get this in, it'll be right at the spot that you need it to. So always look for that slight bend up if you're on your back, and as you slide it in, it's going to be the angle up.
I mean, looking.
The other thing that you can do, by the way, is just, again, use your knees to adjust where the prostate goes. But the most important part is to have that edging experience where you masturbate, do some sort of like sexual play, get yourself aroused, because the arousal process is necessary in order to make the prostate a little bit swollen.
Couple of questions that kind of go together, actually. The first is, what if someone likes overstimulation? Would it be dangerous to overstimulate a prostate? And the second question is, or maybe that's a statement, bruising is possible if you get too rough. So overstimulation and roughness.
Overstimulation is why I didn't like the intense play to begin with. There definitely is, because it is so sensitive. It's sort of, you have to gauge it on your speed, like your personal vibrations and intensity and pressure. That has to be an individual thing, because some people are pain sluts and they love having like large things inserted into their butts.
Yeah.
Other people, like, I love butt stuff, but I can't take like anything big at all, anything much larger than like an Anaros like that. I'm probably going to be in some pain, but the other thing is, like, so overstimulation is definitely a thing. What was the other question?
Well, it was more of a statement, bruising, but I wanted to add to that. It's like, can you scroll back up for something else? It is very individual. Like, I play with somebody who, just likes it on high and very.
Oh, there is another question. Would it be dangerous to overstimulate? Probably not, to be honest. Like, I mean, you could puncture it or something. Just, I mean, don't get crazy with it. But like most of these devices, even if it's set at maximum, are not going to hurt you unless you do something like ram it into your own prostate, which, like, you're not going to do that intentionally.
Right. Desiree just put a link to how to give a prostate massage instructional videos where it has, I think, our video and maybe some other ones that I found like on a porn site, but they were very educational, instructional. And she said, these videos help a lot. Yay.
Yes. And if you get it right, you can absolutely, come without ejaculation. So what that means is you're stimulating the prostate in a couple of different ways. You don't need an erection to do it. And what you're doing is you don't necessarily have the full ejaculate, but you have the orgasm that goes along with it. You don't need to have an erection when you're doing this at all. It's so like somebody that's in their 60s, 70s, 80s can easily do it. Electricity also can do a direct stimulation where you can have that orgasm. Like you will have ejaculation. Sorry, I was reading what he said and I got it wrong. You'll absolutely have ejaculation. You won't necessarily have orgasm.
Real quick, let's give away our prize and then we'll finish answering some questions. So the awesome folks that get vocal picked a winner. Oh, I know you're here because we were just talking to you. Hey, Madison, are you over 18 and have a mailing address in the continental U.S.? Because you just want a buttload of stuff. This actually isn't for your butt. You want a penis load of stuff. It's not semen, but you know what I mean. So just talk to me in the chat. Let me know that you're still here. Hi, Madison. Oh, yes. Great. So I'm going to be sending you an email over the next day or so to get your address and your information, and we'll send these out to you.
By the way, as somebody that collects these things, this is one of the best of their line. This is the Tenga Flip Hole Black. This is actually a collectible, but this is one of their best pieces. It's tighter and stronger. It's better than the white one.
Why is it collectible? Do they not make that kind anymore? Or nope. They do?
The strong edition? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, cool. There's another question. Hold on.
Wait.
Recommendations for butt care. Lotions, food, or scheduling?
Like one of the things is you don't want to do too many nuts before you do it. That's one of the big things. So if you're big, like if you like, peanuts, cashews, pistachios, stay away from that if you're going to do some prostate play because that's like having granola inserted into your anus.
I thought you meant nuts, like I nutted. Like
no,
and then I was
literally,
like,
cashew,
I was gonna make a cashew joke, and then I'm like, is he making the joke?
No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
Okay, okay. And I did want to mention something. I know we kind of glossed. Oh, go ahead.
So you were asking about lotions, food, or scheduling. So food, like I said, nuts are one of the big thing. As far as lotions and stuff, soap and water only. I think as somebody who has fissures, I've had hemorrhoids. One of the things, because I went to the doctor, I've had like them take a look at stuff. They, gave me all kinds of salves and ointments. And the one thing that I found is the more wet stuff that you put on an anus, the more it doesn't heal. So soap and water, dry it normally, and then aftercare, just a little bit of soap and water, and like both inside and out, and you're going to be just fine.
Yeah. Real quick, let me just see. And then I want to say something. Okay, cool. I think I got all the questions. One thing I wanted to revisit was the enema thing. So a lot of people are like, you must have an enema. Oh my God, you must have an enema. Okay, first of all, doing enemas too much can be not good for your body. Secondly, we are such a clean butt oriented society and we're so afraid of being dirty. Oftentimes the enema is more there for psychological reasons and you don't really need it. Ken said, when you have bullets in the chamber, you know what that means, right? Like when there's a shit in there ready to come out. Most of us can feel that. And really that's all you need. Like for me, if I'm doing butt play, if I feel there's a shit in there, I wait or I try to shit. And if I don't feel like there's a shit in there, and then I'm like, hey, my butt's ready. But
if psychologically you want to use an anal douche, go right ahead. Right. It does. There's no advantage or disadvantage other than psychological.
Dump out the water that like the Fleet enema is cheap. It's like 99 cents at Walgreens. Dump out the material, the liquid that comes in there, and just use your regular old water. And usually give about
room temperature water, by the way.
Yes. Usually give about 2 hours. And so do it 2 hours prior to butt play if you're going to do an enema, but don't think they're required.
Oh, yeah. And Adam has a good comment. Enemas too often make your colon lazy and then it expects it all the time to eliminate waste.
So if you do them all the fucking time, That's not good.
Fucking lazy assholes.
Yeah, lazy assholes. If you do it occasionally, you'll probably be okay. But really, just like with vaginas, we're not supposed to douche. Really, unless you're like severely constipated or something, you really don't need to do an enema. Wait a couple hours. Shower bath buddies are good. Just make sure not to have the pressure up to fire hose levels. Yeah, they have ones that go onto your shower. All sorts of
those are amazing. That's kind of like a fancy bidet for your butt.
Yeah. And bidets are cheap now, by the way. If you're like, do wash your butt though. Seriously, if you're gonna do butt play, like hop in the shower and wash the outside of your ass.
Soap and water. Soap and water. That's it. Like soap and water is good for coronavirus. It's good for your butt. It's good for everything. Yeah. Wash your fucking hands.
But I mean, wash your ass and your balls
and your hands,
whether you're doing butt play or not. Because I find a lot of people with penises don't wash very good.
Why are you looking at me?
No, not you. You actually wash good.
I know I do.
You're the best butt washer I've ever been with.
Thank you.
You're a good butt washer. I've never seen skid marks. I've never seen skid marks in his underwear. Like never.
I've never had a skid mark.
Yeah.
That's it. But that doesn't mean anything. Like that's just like because I have so many issues, I've got to wipe.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be clean because I have a lot of issues.
Okay. But yeah.
It's normal to have a skid mark or two. That's normal.
It is? Okay.
For most people.
And I would say every other guy I've been intimate enough to see their dirty underwear, I have seen a skid mark here and there. Yeah. So you're the only one I've never. Well, that's a testament
to me being in the medical field.
Never.
It's not excessive, but like a skid mark or two is
normal. A skid mark or two is normal, but I've been with some people where it's like a skid mark or 55 in a week. Like it's a little much.
A little bit spicy.
Yeah.
A little bit spicy.
A bidet with an enema is awesome.
Yeah.
Bidets are cheap now. We got the bio bidet, and I want to say
it's like here.
Yeah, we have two.
Where are they at?
In the garage, I think, maybe.
With all the rest of the stuff?
Yeah. We have two bidets we have now hooked up since we moved. We moved over a year ago. But they were like $59 each. Like they're not expensive. They're becoming very accessible. You just hook them onto your water supply on your toilet and boom, you got a sparkling clean ass that anyone could eat off of and you're fine. Same boat. Once you have some ass issues, you're anal about cleaning your bum.
Yeah, you really are. Just because like there's pain and stuff involved.
So Nick says you can get them on Amazon for like $25 now. So that's we got our bidets like 2 years ago. So now they've gone down in price.
Wow.
Get your ass a bidet, literally. Real quick,
go panic buy. Hurry, buy all the bidets.
Yes. Wash your hands in them for coronavirus.
Yes, wash your hands with coronavirus.
So real quick, I want to
wash your ass for coronavirus.
What?
What?
Wash your ass with corona. Beer enema. No, where do we go? Okay, so I want to wrap up really quick. Again, congratulations, Madison. Join us next week for tell me in the comments what you want to talk about. I have some ideas from before when you said what you wanted, but we haven't decided what next week will be. This week on American Sex Podcast, we talked with Sydney Leathers. If her name sounds familiar, she is the person involved in the Anthony Weiner sexting scandal. It's a great episode. Go listen to it. It's on every podcast player right now.
And we got to say the word wiener a lot during that interview.
We did get to say the word wiener.
I giggled inside every time.
I'm going to paste for you real quick again the Giddy giveaway and the prostate diagrams because they were all in one big copy.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you. Yeah, Sydney Leathers was a pleasure to talk to, and I feel very it's interesting. I just feel bad for her for the way people treated her, especially just being in. But man, what a tough kid! Like she went up head to head with Sean Hannity, and
go on YouTube and watch that interview. Look up
really
Sydney
did great.
Leathers.
She handled Sean Hannity, and it was surprising how well Hannity respected that. She said he was actually very nice, which I was surprised to hear.
Maybe he picked up on her femdom nature and he was like, yes. Maybe she had a butt plug in his ass and he was in chastity and they did that in the green room before the segment.
That's not a great thing to say on a video chat, sweetheart. Sean Hannity, no, we don't. We're not suggesting that you did anything because he sues.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Okay. Those people don't find humor in this.
Anyway, join us next week for,
thank you, Nick.
I don't know, maybe we're talking about play and sex on JoJo's Clam Chatter. So tune in at 6 o'clock Pacific next week. And I don't know, maybe like something that goes with that a little, like humiliation or a role play or something mental.
I don't know. What we'll do
Something
is we'll
mental.
let you guys know within the next 24 hours or so.
Okay.
Like we don't know right now, but we'll figure out something.
Yeah, I would say 48 to 72, but yeah.
Oh, okay. 40 to 72, not 24 at all.
I got a lot of shit
48
to
to
do. I'm
72.
getting out of plane in 36 hours. Okay, so yay. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Bye.
Bye, guys.
But stay here because we're still here. I hit stop broadcast so nothing happened.